Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. I have done this video tutorial probably 4 times. I did my foundation routine tutorial about 4 times while I was trying to test out some new software for my camera, and I'm really hoping that this is the last time and that this will be the video that you will actually see. We're about to find out. So we're doing an everyday natural makeup routine. I did one maybe 6 weeks ago with my old camera and my old lighting situation set up, and I really want to do a replacement video because you really can't see what the heck's going on in that video. So hopefully this will be much better. I've already done my foundation routine and everything, so I have my nice clean canvas to start with, and to further prepare the canvas I am going to use Too Faced Shadow Insurance. This is just going to go all over my lid. This helps to prevent creasing and helps boost the color and longevity of any shadow that I use on my lid. I just want to get good coverage all over. So a majority of the shadows that I'm going to be using today are from my Makeup Geek Ultimate Palette. And I'm going to start, my base color is going to be Beaches and Cream, which is a matte, kind of neutral peachy color here, and I'm using just a soft shadow brush, and I'm going to put that all over my lid here. And I'm going to confine this. This is going to be primarily made up of 2 colors, but there's a third optional color if you just want to add a little extra something to your look. Covering the whole eye area. Then I'm going to take Unexpected, which is also a matte color, and I have this horizontal right towards my crease, and I'm going to dab it right into the crease. Trying to distribute as much of the product down there as possible. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. So I'm going to go from flat on to vertical, and then I'm going to use just a little windshield wiper motion. And you can do this in little circles too, but going back and forth along there to spread the color just slightly above my crease. You can do this in any neutral color that you like. So you could just do any number of browns or oranges or greens, whatever you like. That's just have to be what I'm doing today. Alright, so I'm going to spread that product just a little bit down across the lash line. So I'm coming from the outer corner of that and drawing it down and over just a little bit, just to link that color a little more onto the lid. Like so. So same on the other side. Just press that into the crease. And then turn the brush vertical and swipe it back and forth. And then just gently working it up above the crease. And then drawing it back down along the lash line. Good. So this is the optional third color. You could just leave this look and move on to the next step just fine. But I like to add just a little bit of highlight color just below my brow bone and just on the inner corner of my eye. It just opens up the eye quite a bit, and I like to use a little bit of a shimmer. So this is Shimma Shimma from Makeup Geek as well. And that is kind of a champagne-y colored neutral with just a little bit of shimmer to it, and just putting it on the tip of that brush, dabbing it along the brow, and blending it. And then I take a little and just put it right in the inner corner of my eye here. lot of product needed for this, just to get a little punch of color there. And what I should have mentioned, what I was doing kind of off camera here without even thinking about it, when I go from a darker color to a lighter color, I don't always switch brushes, especially if I'm using really rather neutral pale colors like these. I keep a little tissue handy off to the side, and I just brush any excess off really quickly onto the tissue before moving on to the next color. Now if you're literally going from like a really dark black or a really dark brown to a bright color, you probably want to switch brushes, because some product will absolutely be left on this, you know, when you haven't cleaned it yet. But for such a small jump, I am unapologetic about just giving it a quick wipe off on a towel and using it again. So I'm going to unline my eyes, and unlining, also known as tight lining, I use powders for my unlined look. Rather than using a cream liner, which I find sometimes runs on me a little bit throughout the day, I find that some powder not only gives me a really versatile cross-section of colors to choose from, because literally any color in any palette can be a liner when you do it this way, which is kind of an exciting prospect. But I find that it gives us a much softer edge than any pencil or gel will ever get you, which again is what I'm going for today. So I'm going to take my push liner brush, which is just a really narrow, flat-ended brush. You could also use an angled liner brush, like this guy right here, whichever works for you is fine. I like the results that I get from this guy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take any setting spray or water. You can use water if you like. Setting spray tends to last a little longer for me. I'm using MAC Fix Plus today. And I'm going to hold my liner brush up against some tissue and give it a spritz. I'm going to give it a spritz on both sides, like so. And then I'm going to wipe off just dab the excess moisture off, because I don't want this to be sopping wet. I just want it to be wet enough to pick up some product. So my tip to you, if you are doing this, you want to pick one portion of your pressed powder that you will dedicate to any introduction of moisture. So whether you're using water, whether you're using setting spray, you don't want to use that willy-nilly anywhere on your palette, because where you introduce moisture will eventually start to harden a bit and may crack. So if you're using it all over, you're going to break up your product in no time. So I tend to stick to the bottom left corner of my palette, and you can't see very well because this is a pretty new one. This is my NYX Dark Brown, but I only use that one corner, and I never let moisture touch any other part of that pressed powder to keep it safe. And you'll see it start to darken, and it kind of takes on a different look than the rest of the pressed powder. So you'll see it changing. Right. So I'm taking just enough to load up the tip, this with the dark brown, and then I'm going to press it right into the base of my lashes. So this is not above the lashes, this is not in my waterline. Some people think tight lining means waterline, and it does not. It means right in the lashes. Now you can combine that with going in the waterline, but it does not equate the waterline. I'm basically starting on the lashes themselves and then sliding until I hit the edge of the lid there. So my lashes kind of become a guide. Some people do this from the underside and press up like this. Can you see that? Again, I'm not going to the waterline. I'm just going to right into the skin where my lashes are coming out. This is really uncomfortable when you first start doing it. If you're not used to poking right onto your lashes, it takes some getting used to. So really take your time and use a very gentle hand as you're doing it. You'll start to get used to it. One thing that's great about using powder as well when you're doing this is that as you're sliding along the lash edge, the powder tends to distribute a little bit onto the lashes themselves as well. So some people could conceivably skip mascara altogether because it gives the illusion of thicker lashes just through doing this. I have very light lashes, so if I'm doing a makeup look, I always do mascara, but if you have darker lashes, you may be able to get away with this for a very, very natural look. Alright, so you can start to see between the two different eyes. Yeah. And I'm going to do the same along the bottom, using the lashes as a guide and just letting them kind of tell me where to put the product. Not in the waterline, not below my lash line, right in it. Okay. Right, I'm going to reload a little moisture on this guy. Again, dabbing off any excess moisture, using just the corner of my shadow and pressing into the lashes. This is taking just a little bit longer than it normally would for me because I'm using the NYX product. It's not quite as pigmented, it doesn't pick up quite as easily, and so I'm having to kind of go over parts a couple of times to get the depth of color that I want. But the price is right, and I don't worry about introducing moisture to it because I can easily replace it later. Whereas I do not tend to allow any moisture anywhere near my MAC shadows. There. Unlining or tight lining. Alright, so I'm going to do my mascara, and usually for everyday look I will not curl my lashes. It's just a step that, particularly if I'm getting ready in the morning, have to get up early and run off to something, it's just a step that I'm going to skip. So I'm not even going to worry about it. And I'm going to take my favorite super quick Almay One Coat Nourishing. This is the lengthening formula, and it's in black brown. I'm just starting at the base of my lashes and wiggling upward. Alright, one step that I wish I could get away from is my brows. I used to not really care about my brows being done at all, even when I had brightly colored hair like I do now. And now that I started doing it and I see pictures of me with it or without it, I'm really sad without it. So I pretty much always do this step. I hate that I added another step to my routine, but here it is. Just using an angled brush. It's quick at least. And you know, there's a product that I really need to get again. It's Benefit has a brow gel that's pre-tinted, and they don't have like an auburn red. It's either brown or black. I really wish they'd come out with an auburn one, but when I had that, I would use that sometimes because it at least got the trick. You know, did the trick. Shapes and colors all in one step. It's kind of cool. Like so. Alright, only 2 more steps and we're done. Isn't that exciting? Alright, so blush step. I'm going to use my new favorite blush. It's a limited edition Bare Minerals Ready Blush called the Natural High. Beautiful blue little case, beautiful little mirror, everything. I don't use their brush, I use my brush, angled blush brush. It is a really great universal color. Kind of a corally pink with a little bit of gold shimmer to it. So it just warms it up a little bit. And I'm going to remind you now that everything somehow looks redder on my video. It's pretty red. It's pinkier than it appears in the video. For some reason I just can't seem to get color balanced quite right. Happy cheeks. And sometimes, just to make sure that I soften that out for natural, I'll go back to my kabuki brush and I'll just soften the edges. This is the same one that I used for my foundation and the same one that I used for my setting powder. So it still has a little bit of that product still on it, and it's a great way to soften the edges of the color. I also love, this is an optional step as well, my Benefit High Beam. It's this great shimmery natural pink that you can just use to highlight the cheekbone. Makes me look dewy and fresh. Great for making you look a little more awake for early morning meetings and that sort of thing. Alright, final step is my lips, and we're going to go nice and natural for this as well. So I'm going to use, first of all, okay, lip primer. Shimma. Then I have my NYX lip liner pencil in Peekaboo Neutral. And line everything up. I have to admit, I do not have mad love for the NYX lip liner pencils like I do for many of their other products. But it's a good way to test colors that you think you want to dupe later in a better product. So I actually bought a whole bunch of NYX liners just recently so that I could try the colors out, and then if I like it, I could go to a MAC counter or, you know, wherever your higher end is and say, hey, I want to get a lip liner that does this but in a better quality, and there you go. And then you didn't buy the MAC one first and then find out it didn't work out for you. And then I'm using NYX Round Case, which is one of the cheap ones that I love and I don't need any dupes for, in Minimalism. And I don't carry lipsticks with me around usually, but I do carry lip glosses just for touch-ups. And the one that I'm going to use today is Tiramisu, which is a real neutral kind of brownie color. It's still pink, but it's a earthier pink is what I'm saying, not actually brown. And that is that. That is my everyday look. Take my hair down here. And when I'm not yammering and fishing around for products, when I just have things ready to go, this look probably takes 10 minutes to achieve. And maybe not the first time you try it, maybe not the second time you try it. If you're not used to doing a lot of makeup, it may take you a little more time at first, but you can get it down to that with just a little bit of practice and have this nice, natural look to wear out during the day. So I hope this was helpful and inspirational. If it was, if it wasn't, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, I want to hear about it down in the comments. I don't want to just talk to a camera, I want to talk to you. So give me some feedback, let me know what you think, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.